Looks like it's gonna work. You're holding.
Everybody, okay, I'll see some of them to you, okay? Okay. So I don't know what. Never.
Missing.
Yeah, give them.
What are we missing?
All you have is, you don't have Charles. Which is kind of weird. Because this camera's showing it.
We'll go ahead and get started while you messed up, Brad. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I've asked Charles to lead us in the pledge. Pledge allegiance. States of America. Need to add. Sarah was supposed to do what Jason both of them. Your motion for the agenda. Motion by Woody on the second. Second by Teresa. Any further discussions?
Right.
Motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes to January 13th, 2025?
Motion made with correction. Just use spelling.
You're really paying attention.
And then. I fixed it, let's go down. You put K Thompson, put K. I don't recall.
Second by Charles. Any other further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Carries. Do I have a motion to approve the accounts payable payroll for January 2026?
Just got a question on this freeway tire, what's it for?
Mike,
Ah.
yeah,
Freeway tire, there's three of them there, 31, so that's just tire change or?
Counts bad.
Wow.
So that was the spare just the truck.
Counts.
Or tire.
Motion,
I'm going to accept that, that's the.
motion by Charles, second. Also, second. Okay.
What was the reimbursement on Bentley?
The cards were frozen and he used his personal account, so we reimbursed him.
I know, but what did we buy?
We bought a jack for our truck.
Okay,
With the spare.
We did not put that in there.
I just wanted to know what it was. Sorry. Okay. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carries. Any awards or public recognition?
It's with this. Truck jack, right?
I don't, oh, you got something?
Public comment?
No.
Public, just, oh, public.
We're on public recognition.
Yeah,
Hold
who
your
you,
horses, David.
who you gonna,
Yeah,
who you gonna recognize?
you're gonna recognize.
Chief, you're doing such a good job with this cases.
Good job, Chief. We got somebody on the books today. We have any unfinished business? We'll move on to new business. Jason, you got the information about the airport?
Will you come up there for a minute?
If you don't
Yeah,
mind.
please.
You don't show and tell.
Yes, sir.
He's always been a good show and tell, hasn't he?
Just trying to come up with ideas to hopefully get the airport functional again. My thought is, a lease, proposal here. Just we can run through this quick. The purpose would be to establish a long-term operational responsibility for the Cokeville Airport to restore functionality, preserve a public asset, and enable outside infrastructure funding. A 30-year lease, it's not gonna make you any money. I'll pay $1 a year for it, how's that?
So there's something exchanged.
There you
Is that worth the check?
go. I would take operational control, so I would be in charge of operating the airport, no removal maintenance. It would remain a public use airport. Available for general aviation, agricultural use, emergency use, transient aircraft. See any revenue that there might be, I don't suspect there will be much, but potentially some fuel sales, hangar construction leases, lot leases, whatever revenue there might be, so hopefully help repay the investment to make the airport functional again. I've been to the state of Wyoming Aeronautical Division, talked to them several times. They won't give you any money until you can show use of the airport. You can't have use of the airport if it's not functional. So it's a chicken and egg deal. So we're gonna have to find a different way to make the airport functional. If we can get the airport functional and get some traffic and get some use, hopefully get some airport or some airplanes stationed at the airport, then you can go back to the state and try to get into their program, and then they'll help with maintenance and keeping the airport going in the future. I've talked to the county, I've continue to talk to the county, hoping to piggyback on work they're doing around the area and bring the cost down to do some repairs. That's an ongoing discussion.
Make any progress. You do better not.
Third option is a USDA rural development grant. I talked to the USDA Rural Development Office today in Casper. There's money available there. Occasionally they have money for grants. They're happy to loan you money. They'll do a 30-year loan at 4% interest for any improvements out there to rebuild the runway, whatever you want to do, but that's the problem with the loan is you gotta pay it back and there's no revenue there, so it would be a risk, but I'm gonna continue talking with them, or I'm discussing things with them, and occasionally they have grant money that would be available that would make it a lot easier. I would assume all the liability out there, city would not have any liability. The benefit to the city, no capital investment, no loss of ownership, it would still be a city airport. I would just have a 30-year lease on it. at the end of that term, it would revert back to the city. Or renew a lease, no operational burden, no financial risk. The goal would be to restore a deteriorating asset and make it usable again, make it an asset to the community. It's a long shot. I don't have any clear avenues to make that happen at the moment. I'm just gonna pursue everything that's available. I'm continuing talking to the state and the county and USDA and private investors. I've talked to several guys that are interested in maybe seeing something out there, but it's risky. There's nothing going on out there right now, so,
Jason,
yeah.
how does this, what does this do with the agreement with the BLM?
Nothing. So the city maintains a perpetual lease with the BLM. I would just be leasing.
We're sublease, basically.
So that's right,
so.
I didn't think that's why.
You clarified that with BLM.
But if it's something that the city would be open to, I would draft up a lease that mirrors kind of what's in this document here. Or present it to you. But, I mean, my motivation is I'd like to see it functional on a personal level. I'd like to be able to land out there and use it, so I'm motivated that way. I think it could be an asset to the community if it was functional.
Are you hoping to get the lights working again?
Eventually, yeah, the first move would be to get the runway functional and then, yeah, lights. And
Well, I just was wondering, like, I don't even know what you'd have to do really, but
new, ought to be new.
That's-
With no ones down.
Yeah, it is. They're just not hooked up to anything.
No. Yeah, yeah. Oh,
I believe a snowplow might have.
the only thing you got there right now is an open space where you could land an airplane if there was a runway, but there's not.
What about just the rotating light? Does that work?
So. It's a ground up deal.
There's power to that. I just don't think the beacon itself.
That is one positive. There's power there. It's an established airport. It's got an identifier. It's in the system. It's been kicked out of the FAA system. That's why we can't get federal funding, because when it fell into disrepair, they took it out of their system. Otherwise, that's where all the money, if you can get it back into the FAA system, but you have to have a minimum of 10 airplanes stationed on the field. And has to be up to their standards, and then they will take it over, but.
You can't do like World War II and make dummy planes out there.
That would be.
Have them take pictures from the air and be like.
Maybe.
Maybe you can get some of those.
Low quality cameras, so.
Keith,
You know,
I'd like to visit with you. It's, I think there's some avenues with approach some people with count. Then I'd be able to put the jab in some of the things that go on, where some, those monies are going. And it should just be, it should be coming back. Just things like this, we're usually been partial owner on that too. It was a county city deal for a lot of years.
Yeah, I think the county would be my first move, and I've been talking to, what's his name? The
Matt,
foreman, Matt, quite a bit. And,
any progress there?
well, I mean, he's open to help, but
He is, yeah.
but they want to tie it in with when they redo 204, that 207,
Right.
and that's on and off. It's been in the,
No, it's on again for this year.
is it on again?
We'll see. But,
But yeah, I need,
I just, if you get a chance tomorrow, stop by the shop and I want to visit with you.
yeah, and I guess a reason for this lease is because in initial talks with Matt, he said that if they would do some of the labor, to lay the oil down or do a seal coat or something, but somebody else was gonna have to buy the oil. I don't think the city's ready to write $100,000 check for oil.
We probably don't have that in our coffers.
So that's where the lease would come into play, is if I can gather up some private investors or something to fill the void, if the county won't do it all. And I can't get USDA grants or something else, that's where a private investor gonna have to step in. There's gonna have to be something in place for us to recoup our investment if it goes that direction.
Do you have any private investors interested?
Just talking, I mean,
Yes and no.
yeah, right, yeah, I've talked to 3 guys that say, yeah, that'd be fun, let's try that, but nobody's written any check.
Exactly, you know, when it comes to that, that's the other part.
But if we had some momentum and the county was talking like they're ready to help, if we could make up a difference, and then we get serious about it. But right now, I've gotta have a news keep talking to the USDA, go talk to the county and see if we can get something going there.
If their capacity, like I started out at Alpine, or just wondering, is there this additional demand that would spill over this region for those kinds of facilities?
Yeah, it's a tough deal, because a lot of guys, if they wanna fly into their hangar home or whatever, they want to be able to get something to eat. They wanna be able to go recreate, so that's what makes Afton and Alpine more appealing, is there's 15 restaurants and a grocery store. They don't wanna come up here and cook for themselves. And we've got a restaurant, I know, but I think there is, I mean, Alpine is for billionaires, Afton is for multimillionaires. There's air parks in both those communities. There's guys that don't want to spend $1 million on rocket, might spend a couple $100,000 here. It's uncharted territory, but that's a risk that, is appealing to me. I'd like to pursue that. Can't do that on the airport because it's BLM property, so it'd have to be involved neighboring landowners.
Jonathan, private, when he was, the landowner at the county said, Cokeville has 2 really untapped assets, a ski resort and airports. It's really, you can find a way to utilize there, which it's provides a lot of benefit if you can find a way to utilize it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can see guys flying up there from Salt Lake to go camping or fishing or snowmobiling or whatever, but it's not functioning the way it is.
Even for a bad year at the ski area, you've got people coming from Park City, Deer Valley, come up here skiing because there's skiing and poor down there.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it's not gonna be a game changer, but it'd be an asset. It'd be rough.
yeah.
Personally, I think it's great that you're trying to take this on, do something. I mean, it's, like you said, it's deteriorating asset right now, and it's not doing anybody any good.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the council feels, but I'd be inclined to accept this offer.
We need to make a motion.
I would you just accept the more formal proposal, kind of get it open. So with a more detailed proposal. Yeah. Within the future, from in the future.
I'll have a more formal lease put together between an LLC and the town, and I'll present it to you between now and the next meeting for
You got a
you.
motion, a second,
I'll second.
got the concern you want to put in? All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, James.
Thank you.
Thank you for your guts to do it.
Jason.
People. Thank you.
We'll move on. Sarah, you have. That's what we do.
Yeah. Jeez. Jeez. So just a couple of things. So to start off with, the South Lincoln Economic Coalition does take yearly dues to be on it. And don't believe that Cokeville has, and this is, I don't like asking for money, okay, so this is about as out of my element as I can get. So, but in the interest of what I may be able to offer to you, or what the SLEC may be able to offer to you, I'm just coming to just, let you know the benefits of staying in. And if you as a quorum decide not to pursue a membership, I will not, any hard feelings, I will not leave your house. You're safe there, so.
Well, that's one person's not.
So, granted, I need all the eggs I can get to just cook breakfast. So, anyway, so right now I've been in this position for about 6 months. And I feel like the direction that I'm going to start taking it is being able to start with local businesses. If industry wants to come in, they're gonna find us. I'm not gonna find them, but I feel like the real meat and cup of the South Lincoln area is the businesses that are established, the businesses that are trying to stay open. And I feel like South Lincoln Economic Coalition is going to be that supportive entity for these businesses. So, you know, just going in, if they want to meet, if they want to explore opportunities that they've been looking at, they don't know which direction to take, they need grants, they need, maybe you've got like 5 businesses that are like, man, my business is growing out of control, I don't know how to manage that, then that's something that they can come to us and we can talk to our partners, Western Wyoming, BOCES, and say, hey, we've got a group that could really use maybe some business classes or some management classes or marketing classes, or I need a grant to be able to allow this person to expand or get new signage or whatever it may be, or and taking that to the board and then taking whatever the board has discussed as possible avenues back to the business owner and saying, well, you know, here's this avenue you can take, here's this avenue, here's this avenue, here's the pros and cons, here's the pros and cons. Let me know what you want to do and go from there. Because without our local businesses, we don't have a lot going for us. And if we can sustain our local businesses, kind of a business retention type deal, then that's only going to help sustain and support the economic development. And then also as the industry comes in, then you're going to have the restaurants that are staying in business and the grocery stores and the just random shopping that you find in Lincoln County. Those are going to be the things that are staying and bringing and helping the businesses stay and succeed. So I supported the, I guess the tiers that you can, and if you are interested in knowing what the price tiers are, the lowest membership cost is just $100, and that just gets you into the monthly meetings to just kind of at least know what's going on, what businesses are being discussed, plans that are being discussed. As far as details like that, the next tier, you get a voting ability, and then the highest one, you can become an officer. So it goes $100, $500, and $1,000. So I will just let you discuss that, and just let me know, and I can tell you where, if you decide to pursue a membership, where to send it. But it kind of just helps unite South Lincoln County, I feel like, in this effort. But like I said, if you decide that the membership hasn't been worth it in the past and it's not going to be of any worth to you going forward, it's totally fine. I'm still here. I'm still willing to help Cokeville, and the council meetings, work on economic development, I'm still gonna be able to be a resource for you, because my goal is that the proof has gotta be in the pudding. If you're gonna put your money toward it, I want you to have a product that you're gonna be happy with, instead of saying, I got absolutely nothing out of that experience, that was a waste, I'm not ever doing that again. So, that's my whole goal with being in my position with the SLEC, is to have something that is that can come out of this. So, with that, I'll let you discuss that, let me know. And then I also have a couple of sheets, because I know that Charles has been, I'm sure Charles has been looking, but I did look at the Bechtel and Share Power websites, and there are a lot more job opportunities. I don't know how many of them are really like, oh, we need an electrician, or for maybe people here, but if you know people that could maybe fit this. Terra Power is paying really, really well on some of these, so I have 3. There's probably like 20 positions or more. There's 15 just from Bechtel. But if you guys know of people, if you wanna have this as a resource at the front desk, or put it on the bulletin board. And Charles, I can get you a link, then, you know, people with these skill level sets are looking to come in. Bring them in, let's bring them in, so, because we can always use good people, and like I said, they're paying really well. Really great benefits, so, there are more job openings since last time I talked. I think last time I talked, there were like 4. So they're really starting to open things up, but I will keep looking for when they actually really open it up for like the construction workers and like the welders and electricians and some of them staff. And let you guys know, so that if you do know anyone that maybe could use a job or would like to be a little bit more local with their work, then they'd be able to have the opportunity to do so. Are there any questions?
Back to your first
Spiel?
well. I myself. I'm game to have a seat on there. And pay that $100, it's a year, right?
Yeah.
I'm game for that, as long as you be our feet on the ground at it.
Right, yeah.
Cause you know what's going on. And you always bring good information to us and stuff.
So if you do, you can have someone be your representative, and I will still come and report to you. I feel like that's part of my position, is to report to all the member municipalities, but also trying to work with those municipalities who aren't members. So I will still work with you. It's just kind of an extra set of ears. And so then if the council has something specific in mind, an opportunity, then I can talk with that person. Or talk to the board. It doesn't matter however you want to go about that.
Basically, if we don't have a membership on it.
Right. Well, I mean, $100 gets you ears onto the board. 500 gets you some ways.
You just have the heaters there.
Yeah, I think there's value in that. But also, well, and it doesn't matter to me, like, I understand the financial duties that you guys have, so like one more, you know, bill is maybe, I don't know if that's, you know, something you need or don't need, or, you know, whatever, but, my goal is just to, if you're gonna do this, I want it to have value. And so not only just talk the talk, but walk the walk, because we're gonna look at these opportunities. I want to be involved. I want to be able to take it back to the board and say, they need GIS mapping. Who can I lead them to get the best deal? Or, they need a grant for the park. What can I do to help them down that avenue? What can I help the beautification committee do? Like I've already been in contact with the beautification committee and Mayor Peg about grant training that are going on. that I will be attending, but I feel like there's a lot of value in other people attending those trainings. So just like a lot of information spreading that way, that could be beneficial. And then also just like reaching out to our local communities, like Jason said, you know, and Charles pointed out, our greatest assets, we need to really walk into those and try to, you know,
Basically,
yeah.
it's not led by the county.
Yes, yeah, there are county like representatives on there, but like what the county is doing is not what we're doing necessarily. They might like give us an update every once in a while, but I'm not helping the county with their projects. They've got those covered, which is why I'm focusing more on like the businesses. And if there's like, you know, if there's an industry coming into Kemmer, the city administrator is probably gonna have me just be the communication between city of Kemmer and the, you know, the industry leader, and then what their needs, do they need Rocky Mountain Power? So I give them the information and build it, and then help them my way down. So that's kind of where my position goes as far as industry goes. I'm not gonna really like tell them where all the lots are that they can buy and, you know, do all that stuff. They know how to do that, and there's county people that know how to do that. It's getting them to those people, giving them the information that they need to succeed or.
And it's been a struggle. I mean, they've had, you know, well, like tomorrow morning we'll have
It actually got moved to the 25th.
oh, did it get moved to the 25th? I'll have to tell Stephen to update his thing.
I sent out an email updating.
Okay.
So I
And it's been a struggle for us because they had a lot of things that they had to redo. They found out there was so many things that they weren't doing properly, and so it has been a struggle. And it's good to know that with what I'm listening to and the questions I have to answer, I can run to you for help.
Yeah.
But it has been a struggle because the county was struggling with this.
Yeah,
Time.
yeah, and
The way they did it before was wrong.
well, when I got the position, they were just kind of like, find your avenue.
Yeah, they
and,
were.
and roll with it. And so this is kind of the avenue that I decided that I'm gonna take, is just really starting to work on the businesses and see how I can help them. So, you know, working with Greg Nate, and I need to reach out to Buffy, and if they want help, that's great. And if they don't, at least they know that they have that option for us to have, you know, be a resource for them or a support.
One thing I'd like to kind of utilize or kind of say on this is, you know, we charge business licenses. Charge for business licenses, and I think it's a good place for us to put our dollar in those. We put it back into the company and we come back into it and stay afloat. I don't know if that's a value added or not, but I feel like that's where. You know, we can be justified in our dollars we charge. We're not only just charging them for a business license, we're trying to help them continue to stay afloat. Informed and have access.
Yeah, and those are the type of people that talk to me about.
Along those lines. So are they going to be providing some of those educational services in Cameron? Just
I think it just kind of depends on needs. I mean, Kemmer has BOCES, and I don't know if you guys have had a lot to do with BOCES. But they work with Western Wyoming, and they're just kind of like an educational support. So if there's a need for a class, they can set up a class. If there's something, if they want to do like a jumpstart business competition, they're going to be a really big asset in helping that happen. So they can do a lot of things. And I'm also in contact with Western Wyoming. And so I feel like I can say, hey, what can we do for communities that maybe don't want to take, you know, career class, but just need a class just to brush up on some things. What could we do? How could we work with BOCES? So I worked with BOCES, not like professionally, but as a student in high school. And they're the ones that facilitated with Central Wyoming, college classes. And because of them, I was able to, they accredited our teachers so that their classes were not only like high school credit, but college credit. And so I graduated with 36 college credits as a senior from CWC, not from 15 different colleges that I had to take online classes for. They were in-person classes. So I graduated from the university in 3 years because of that. And so that's having that experience and knowing that Hammer has a BOCES, like I already know the huge value that they have to the community, and I know they're really close. And it's a little tricky where we're part of LCSD too, but as far as like a professional business career, they're not gonna be like, oh, they're in Cokeville, I'm not gonna help them.
Well, that was the question. I mean, are we in the region or are we in?
I should say they absolutely we are. I think it helps their funding if they're doing a lot for the community. And it's kind of like the library, you know, the more people that go in, that only helps them. And so, and there is a Cokeville connection because the woman who does BOCES is over that is Sassy Longworth's sister. So, I mean, there is a good connection there. And I feel like one that we could utilize as a community and as like a region for South Lincoln. In addition to, I mean, we've got Western Wyoming, I mean, Mel Luthi is the Western Wyoming rep here. So, I mean, even working with Mel Luthi on these things, it's just avenues and then finding the right fit. But as long as like, so me being able to know all of the options and even more from what the board knows, and then being able to take all of that information and take it back to the business is going to allow them to maybe explore some avenues that they already knew were there, but they may have some more confidence going down or being able to open up a lot more avenues that they didn't actually know were there. Because sometimes I think we look around and say there's not a lot of resources, but I feel like there's more resources than what we can see. If that makes sense. So.
Just speaking really openly, because I've worked with them in the past, and it's really hard to do economic development.
Yeah.
You know, it's an association that doesn't have capital, it's just really hard. And I think it's valuable to kind of stay in the game, to be informed. And it seems like this kind of what we're paying for. It's some influence, you know, the connection to us to Renew and Teresa's been involved in that. So I would tend to support, you know, membership at you know, by that basic level based on what we've done in the past. But also recognize that it's not, there's no magic wand to create a bunch of businesses all of a sudden.
Right, and I wish that like, you know, as far as funding, I wish that we could be like, oh yeah, we'll give you this grant from our organization, but that's not likely. We're gonna have to look for external grants, but knowing the people that are on the board who doing grants is their career. And so they're gonna be able to know ways to look for grants. There's the trainings, there's so many opportunities to look for those, or, you know, just putting their heads together. I think there's power in that. And, you know, working with people, we've got really good people on the board.
Sarah. So I feel like should be fast forward. Otherwise, it's taking a lot of time and effort from all our parties try to go on. Maybe you'll. The opportunity to see the fit. Makes a little bit more. More time.
And I'm happy to research anything if you're like, there's an opportunity that we're looking at. What do you think? Where, you know, what could we do with it? I'm happy to go talk to state representatives and legislators. I'm happy to go talk to business owners. I'm happy to, you know, bounce ideas off of other city administrators and to say, you know, they're struggling with this, what do you think? Have you ever had to deal with that and have you overcome, or what would be a good idea? And, you know, Colby's been really good about thinking of creative ways to get around things and make them work. So I think we're really fortunate there. But, you know, utilizing the people that we have and the resources we have, I think we've got a lot going for us. It's just finding the right fit and match for the right situation. So, which I'm happy to help in any way. And my biggest fear is that I'm just talking the talk and I'm not walking the walk. So please correct me if you do go of being like, you're kind of full of it. Let's see some, you know, let's start seeing some fruit here from all the seeds that we've, you know, sowed. And it's not going to be an overnight process for sure. But if I can help in any way, that's what I feel like my greatest asset is going to be, is just being here, giving information and helping out where I can.
One thing I like, Sarah, is, with your representation, you're from here.
Yeah.
In the past, we've had somebody from out of town, other towns and stuff. They leave here, we're forgotten. You've got interest in this town. That's a big asset.
There might be a little bias to Cokeville.
Little,
But, and it is hard just because South Lincoln County is so spread out. And, you know, so that's one thing I've been trying is to stay in contact with all 5 of the municipalities, but Cokeville's definitely been a lot easier. And I get a lot of joy from it so far, being able to hopefully make a difference in the town and represent and be more involved. So.
Just a quick question. This was actually on my updates. So are you one to Evanston or Hammer?
I'm gonna go to bowl.
I think we need to think in terms of who from the community can represent it, because there's the front end, which how you find grants, how you do applications, then there's the management side, is the one in Hammer.
Yeah.
And so I think we need to kind of ideally be a little strategic about building that capacity locally. Because I think that's just how it is.
Well, even I know that members of the SLC, we've talked about these managed like grants, trainings and stuff. So if there was like enough interest and people could make it to one and not the other. And we had even more interest of community members from in the area, they're like, we could even just post one ourselves. So I mean, there's opportunities for that too, if somebody from the community can't make it, that, you know, there could be, if there's a need, that there could be something that we could sponsor that would maybe complete that training. I learned how to get them. I need to learn how to finish it, or I learned how to finish it, but I can't find one to save my life. How do I do that? And kind of touching up on those, or just a refresher from, they've done it all, but things have changed. And I just got the email today.
So did I, just today.
Yeah, so there are only 35. I sent it to you as soon as I got it in Kathy and Brittany. And just, yeah, so, not sure why, as well, so she might be one, so.
Because we don't have a designated grant. People will research for it.
But I think if you have people from the town going, then you can almost have a little committee there of maybe not paid grant writers, but of people who are willing to research grants and collaborate with each other. And another great thing that I've learned is that Wyoming they have resources. So if you have a grant that you want to pursue, they've got people that will work with you for free. On the state side, that's their whole job, is to help you get your grant, have the best success for it. And they'll even like review your grant and make sure it makes sense. It's when it needs to be before you send it off. So, you know, just knowing that the resources. So I think if you have a group of individuals from the community attend those, then you're building your assets right there. You went to that training, we're kind of looking at the grant right here. What can you guys come up with, or what are you wanting to do with them?
Not to belabor the point, but I've seen a lot of organizations, they'll be very reactive, and the grant comes up and they just go after it, whether or not it's really relevant to where they're going as a community. So
Right,
it's really the value of having a plan, a set of priorities, so that you have a screening mechanism, say, hey, this fits with what we're trying to do. Because, there's an administrative burden associated with grants that can be very
yeah,
distracting. So I think things are kind of coming together.
yeah. But even for the airport, knowing that that's maybe a possibility. And now we can start looking at grants for airports, like import improvement grants or something. Whether they come up or not, I don't think it comes up very often, but having that on the radar, it just as an example, however you go about that, so. Are there any more questions?
Is there an amount that we have in mind if we,
I would say we go at a minimum of 500, so we have the public rights, and we're not just years old, we have boards.
I'll go aside.
I'll make the motion that we have a rejoin or we provide membership dues to $500. So we have that representation.
I'll say.
Further discussion, got a motion by Charles, second by Wade.
Just as far as discussion, are you still in position to attend these?
I think it's already.
Yeah.
I believe it is.
Yeah, it's already budgeted for that.
Anytime, whenever I can,
Is there? We need to have a paper trail, that's one of our things,
right,
but we could,
I will send you an invoice
okay, perfect.
form, and then you can send that to, the treasurer's man, Crosby. And you can take those views and get that set up. But I don't wanna here's the invoice of that. So I appreciate it. Thank you for supporting us, and, please come and talk to me, or I will keep coming to council and filling you in on whatever I find out that will be of value, but, please keep me in check as well. So,
We have a motion on the table, so we can vote on. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Yeah, it's already on the budget.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Aaron.
All right, let's move on to resolutions and ordinances. We have we're gonna go on public comments. We have a third reading for Cokeville Buick. No, but I heard there's a change. Yeah. I don't know if they want to continue, but they never came to stop us.
She has called me and they want,
Okay.
they want to do the phone. Because I was gonna ask somebody, they're moving, so everything.
The third reading.
That we accepted.
Motion by Commissioner, do I have a second?
I second it.
Second by Brad. Any further discussions?
So they're obviously want to pass this because then if they sell it, it's more valuable as a residential line. But it seems like there's some information we don't have about what would be the plans of some future. I'm just. I wish we could see in the future. And, and see what would come of this. Are there other things that would we'll regret in the future.
Well, the bottom line is the size of it is, it's gonna be a residential lobby,
It's not big.
big enough for munchies.
Yeah.
Only half acre.
So Hannah Grandy called and she was gonna try to be here tonight, but she couldn't. And she said even though it went through them, she's still concerned about the size of the lot and so close to the tracks. And so I don't know.
I don't know why it wouldn't matter. Half acre lot, big enough to build a little house. It's got access off of First Street.
She's bringing that close to this. I guess on the other side of that house is pretty close.
That's the years people from.
What's the medium density? One or something that's. Guess I need to look that down now.
There's, that's part of the ordinance is where they're. Like family and things like that. This is to be just a basic single family home,
Right.
bring medium density. If you don't mind. Yeah, volunteer. Leave that allowed.
Ordinance 26-01, ordinance amending the zoning map of the town of Cokeville, Wyoming. Change the zoning classification of certain property owned by Copeland and Joseph Healy. Whereas the town of Cokeville has received a request from Copeland and Joseph Healy to rezone property located within the corporate limits of the town. And whereas the property is more particularly described in Exhibit A, attached here to and incorporated herein by reference, consisting of Lindbergh South Drive, as surveyed by Surveyor Sherwood LTD, and recorded in the office of the clerk of Lincoln County, Wyoming. Whereas the Planning and Zoning Commission has reviewed proposed zoning change and has recommended approval. And whereas the governing body finds that the proposed zoning change is consistent with the town's comprehensive plan and promotes the health, safety, and welfare of the community. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the governing body of the town of Cokeville, Wyoming. Section 1, zoning classification of the property described in Exhibit A is hereby changed from not zoned to medium density residential district R2. Section 2, official zoning map of the town of Cokeville shall be amended to reflect zoning change set forth in Section 1. Section 3, this ordinance shall be in full force effect from and after its adoption, approval and publication as required. Passed, approved, and adopted this day.
February 10th.
You want to read your tracking back to,
Do you mind?
Exhibit A, legal description, Lindbergh South Tract. A part of Tract 88, town north, I don't know, now where you put that,
Township.
township 24 north,
Range 119.
range 119 west, within section 5, township 24 north, range 119 west, and in the town of Cokeville, Lincoln County, Wyoming, described as follows. Beginning at the cap at the intersection north right of way line first north of the addition to the town of Cokeville, and line 3-4 west line of said tract 88, which cap in north 0 degrees 45. What's that? 45 feet 9 inches west. The base bearing for this description 420.43 feet of corner number 3 of said tract 88. Thence south 89 degrees 10 feet 0 inches east 72.55 feet long and easterly prolongation of said north right of way line to a point of southwesterly right of way line of Oregon Short Line Railroad. Then south 18 degrees 36 feet 36 inches east 233.68 feet said southwesterly line to a point. Thence north 89 degrees 50 feet west 144.24 feet to a point on said line 3-4, which is north 0 degrees 45 feet 9 inches. 200 feet from said corner number 3. Fence north 0 degrees 45 feet 9 inches west 220.43 feet along said line -3-4, the point of beginning, encompassing an area of 55.55 acres, more or less.
On the motion. By Teresa, second by Brad. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And then we have ordinance for the camping. The town ordinance.
Sidebar? Okay.
That this,
Camping ordinance B 26.
Looking to discuss first, or?
What I'm asking for a motion or whatever you guys want to do.
I asked for a motion to discuss ordinance 6, chapter 2, 6-208. My question is the changes that I made, what you wanted? Are we good?
I think there can be some, leeway on a lot of these things, I think. It can be, a lot of things can be overlooked. To an extent. 2 weeks, you know, is fine, but, such as, up here when he has his man come in in the fall, helping him in the fall, hunting stuff, you know, he's there for long. Excited.
I was gonna say that they can get a permit?
so in that case, he that actually requires to get the permit.
If it extends.
Well, it's all, you know, it's anything, but it's just, I think we're just kind of making things harder than they should be. On the other hand, there's people that will take advantage of it. And, so we kind of got to be careful, you know, there is a catch-22, I don't know how you look at it, but it's a. I just think there's just things we gotta overlook, so. And as long as they're willing to come in here and pay for a permit of some sort, I'm on game for letting them stay a little longer. Am I okay with saying that, Chief?
Whatever you guys want. My only concern is we're gonna make an ordinance and we need to make it so we can force something. We're gonna have something to enforce. Whatever it is that he's deciding, it's fine. Don't want anything about happening in town, then we just won't worry. People just can't start living on people's property wherever they want, which to me, it doesn't make a difference. If I explained before, it's gonna take me a while before I really realize somebody's staying there, before we even start looking at when the time starts. So having it doesn't mean that we're gonna go out there and clock everybody's trailer and, oh, there's a light on tonight, and someone's staying there. They've been in there for 3 days, now we go after. That's the problem. It's trying to prevent something maybe down the road without having people living in trailers on people's properties where they're putting more strain on, something. They're putting it hazard, because now they're not having water and sewer or whatever, or have bad living conditions type thing. But staying in the trailer for a little bit of time isn't any good, because I think in Stewart's guy's position, he's here, his trailer's here, and I've seen the trailer. But is he always here? No. Or is he up helping guide and gone for 2 weeks and comes down for a weekend and he's gone for 2 weeks? And so that, in that position, may not ever, just because his trailer's there, that's no different from the trailer that's sitting in my yard. Nobody's in it, except occasionally. So it's what you want, what you guys want to do. I just know there was some concerns about some people living in trailers.
Right.
Long periods of time.
Yeah, and so that's kind of why it was brought up, was to try to maybe stop it from happening down the road or becoming a problem. Stop it from being a problem before it is a problem.
So
I
section,
shouldn't have a problem with it because I'm building an RV park.
It
And the
wouldn't
other
have-
thing is this,
It wouldn't
there's
affect you.
people in this community that is trying with our own funds to build Cokeville.
It's not gonna affect yours.
I know, but I'm just saying this, if you have people in trailers around town, when we're trying to bring investors into Cokeville, and some of us are gonna spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to do this, because Cokeville's gonna die. And there's some of the people in Cokeville that want to leave Cokeville the way it is, let people live how they want, that's our property, they can have upkeep cows and horses and dogs running around but you know what? The truth is, all cities have ordinances and they have to go by them. There's no gray and black. I mean, it's, you either do it or you don't. So if we're trying to bring people into Cokeville the people are gonna come to Cokeville are gonna be millionaires. That's it. They're gonna be retired rich people that can stimulate this economy right here with recreation. And then we let the town just kind of sit in limbo, and these guys come in and look at it like, well, hell, your town looks like crap. You know, if I was a multimillionaire, like with Jason, I'd fly in, I'd stay at one of these nice places, I'd fly out of here, because if we're not gonna keep our community to a standard, then yeah, let's leave it to go, and then in 20 years when the school's shut down and the streets are all falling in and the cops let something go, because we don't even have enough people to, then you gotta know, maybe we should have done something and can't build this instead of just letting, well, I don't want to infringe on this guy's right, we can get sued. Let them sue you. You guys are the law, you have the law. I mean, I don't get it. But if I'm building an RV park, I have 24 slots that are gonna be available. If somebody comes into town, wants to spend 2 nights at the park, whatever the rules are, let them. If they stay there for 3 or 4, I'd say, hey, you know what? There's a nice RV park up here you can stay at that will generate some money. I guarantee you, as taxpayers of this community, the people on the outside of this town that it gets affected pay more to the school district in taxes than any of you people in here.
the two big things that we made an amendment or change to was section B, we just changed it to 3 overnights instead of 2. And we need to talk, I just need to make sure that in section D2, basically, that's where it talks about the difference of whether it's considered, camping or residency, or whatever you call it, dwelling. That's where it really defines it more. So I think that's where we should focus. I do agree with Greg, and I do agree with others who have brought this forward. I think having something on the books is important. There are a lot of things, is there a lot of laws on books that aren't always like super enforced all the time?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but having something when you need it is important, right? So I think we're on the right track. I just think we should focus on just those definitions and what would actually we all feel as a council representing the town that would benefit. I can see Greg's point, you know, I mean, there's a possibility you can basically be hindering a business. I don't know. Those are the ones that we kind of discussed. I just did the 12 or anything over 12 overnight stays in a 30-day period. Doesn't matter if they're consecutive or not. If you want them consecutive, you can make them consecutive, but basically, if you're over half the month staying in that location, then you're probably could be renting or doing something.
So is that the one then that is that the only one left?
Those are the only two that I really changed. The rest of it, excuse me, on the penalty part, I did remove what you asked.
Right.
Sorry.
I guess I've got a couple of comments I'd like to make on this. I was gonna try and let it go, but I'm not gonna now. First, I have a question for you guys to think about here for a second. What problem are we trying to solve? Or what potential problem are we trying to solve? If we have that answer, it'll make it a lot easier for us to put this on paper. So if we really think about what is the problem now? Is there a problem now that we're trying to solve? Or is there a potential problem in the near future that could be a major issue? So, secondly, I want us to think about this in a reality of a way. Greg brought up a very valid point. He's investing his own money and his own time in trying to develop something in our town. Allowing people to just go on to camp out anywhere. Taking away from that investment he's putting in. One. Two, I've got a few concerns that I think we can allow variances on. The concerns I have is allowing camping in our town park. That's where our children play, and we don't always understand the type of people that are coming in camp. I would camping in our town parks personally. I can tell you right now that if I see a tent down there at the town park and my kids want to go play, guess what's not gonna happen? They're not gonna go play. They're not gonna go play. Provide a variance, for example, when the 24th of July parade happens and the temple riders want to stay in the park. I think that's a variance we can apply and fine with.
Sure.
I would just assume not have us camp in the town park. If we wanted to establish a park that we could camp in. Valuable asset for the town to be able to utilize.
Exactly.
Reality of it is people are gonna want to go to Greg's one and they want to go out there because they have running water, they have. Make sure we're capturing what we're trying to solve on the problem lines. But also that we're not opening the door for a bigger issue with what we have.
Do we,
Charles,
Well, I really appreciate you saying, what problem are we trying to solve? My understanding was there were a couple of complaints about one situation that led to this. We've spent hours on this now. And it's like, is it really a problem? Was it, I mean, because people complain about a lot of things. Is it, the safety issue? Is it, I don't see the impact upon infrastructure. If someone's plugged in, and I don't know if they're plugged in water, have to get a pump system or something. So, if, can we just identify what problem we're trying to solve? Is it actually a problem? I also, you really appreciate, Greg's making, I know it's our job not to pick winners and losers, it's a fair playing field for everyone. That's another consideration. It's great that we're responsive to concerns and things like that. We have to also sit back and say, is it a problem for someone to have a trailer that house their workers on their property? Is that a problem? And maybe it is.
Yeah. So. I'm actually agreeing with you. I really don't think we need to have anyone camping in the main town park. I think it's without having a permit or something. Because we have in here for special events and emergencies, we do have that. It's in there. It's on section G. And it says specifically that the mayor actually has the ability to just make the choice, which would be then ratified by the council the next meeting, which I think is totally what you need to do, because it's going to be a very quick thing. We're not gonna all get together and vote on a thing. So I propose that we do remove that and just make it into the Legion. I do think this is a good thing to put in, and I think my personal goal after thinking about it is, one, we went and we just passed this big nuisance order that we want to clean up our town. We really want a bunch of trailer houses sitting around with people camping in them, even if, I mean, we don't care about the everyday summer family guy that comes up and hangs out and goes to our rodeo and does a few, we're not looking at that, but it's kind of like something that seems a little more long and it's more of a future problem that I think we're protecting than really a reality of right now. I know we had one person that was, a focus, and it doesn't need to be that. But I'll be honest with you, there's some of these workers that people bring in, guys, I'm not gonna let my kids play at their place either. You know what I mean? So I think it's a good thing to have. I think it's more of a preventative thing for future, especially with the economy the way it could be. You never know what's gonna happen. All of a sudden it crashes and everybody bring home their kid to stay in their trailer house. That could be a potential issue. So if you at least have something on the books to protect the town and your neighbors. But I'm with Kobe on that. I really think that the main park really shouldn't really have overnight stays personally. I don't think we're really having that many, 4 or 5 a year.
I couldn't tell you.
Once in a while.
I see probably 4 or 5 in the summer.
And stuff there, but
I'll be honest, there's people that'll even pull over by the football field and
I think
camp at night, but I think the ultimate goal is a protection for something in the future more than really the incident right now. And I do like that it has regulations over, how you have to have, it has to be, bathrooms and all that stuff. You can't just.
So I have a question. Can we make the changes and finish this one?
got 3 readings.
I know,
So until the 3rd reading, you can make all the changes on the wall.
that's what I'm hearing, that there are some differences that need to be made. And,
Right now, it's only up for discussion, so
yeah,
you can totally edit it if you guys want and start it all over or whatever.
I think we can do a reading and make some changes and get it on the process. It's 3 months to make what changes we need. And I think we need to let the town know and have them come and give their input. This is very important for you guys. Whether it's pro or con, it doesn't matter. We'd like to know what everyone's input is. I actually think we should do a thing with Charles and let the community have like a response. What do you do on your,
On the surveys,
like a survey of some sort, and get their opinions on what. Pretty bad if they pass something here and we got 98% of the town who says no. That's pretty rough. So, and I think the things that need to be in there, do you want people to camp on the main camping, or do you want them mainly to camp here? You know, those are the questions I think would be, that I think we should probably move forward, but I do think we do a reading on it, but.
and then too, if we're gonna include the Legion Park as part of that, then we need to go up and do some work. So,
Do you guys feel like 12 overnight stays is plenty in a month? That's really 14 days. If you can have the whole day, have a night,
right,
all the way to the end, and then have a whole nother rest of the day, as long as you're not there at 10 p.m. So that's 14 days.
I think just throwing this out, you could have permits where, you know, not to exceed X number of days. And not even have a fee. And we take the fee off the board, that's one thing that's gonna irritate people. They say, we want to have some control, just to ensure it doesn't get out of control. We're trying to solve the problem.
The fee's not for making money, we have to pay a cop to make sure things are doing what it needs to be. $35 is to camp for a whole month, that's pretty cheap. Is that pretty cheap? How many, when you go to an RV place, it's like $100 for one night. I think $35 is pretty cheap. I don't think we're gouging anybody.
that's right.
You know that we can camp on my property, $35 a month versus
Well,
camping at his place for,
It's all,
let's say,
it's,
70.
it's not gonna be used. It's not gonna be used like in that scenario. It's for the onesies need.
Or stuff coming to my property, so.
Yeah,
It's
I don't think
It'll be fine.
people to choose.
I don't think it's gonna be.
I wanna kind of amend what I said a little bit. I think we ought to not allow any camping. Except by permit. And permit would be issued on a as needed basis for anyone.
I go with Flying J, I have people that work there asking me all the time, when are you gonna be open? Because we're getting tired of everybody camping in the park. I'm like, well, that's a private property. You guys are in charge of it. So I said, if somebody pulls in there and you guys, I don't know what your Flying J's policy is, but if you go across the town, we stay in when we're rodeo. I don't know if they can really kick them out. I mean, they've always asked, you know, if you had a place, we could send some people to, and I go up there and there's always 3 or 4 trucks parked in that parking lot. It's like,
I would suggest we don't allow any camping. It's my suggestion. And you guys can take it for what it's worth, but I suggest we don't allow any camping in town. Except by permit as an as needed basis, so basically. 24th of July comes around. We can allow some people to stay in the park or in the grounds or whatever. Because the capacity is gonna be. I just would assume that it would be better than. It'd be a lot more enforceable if we don't have anything. I don't know, Eric, you might find it.
One question I have with that camping is not making it so my kids can't stay in my trailer when they come up, when my whole family comes up.
That's what I was gonna ask.
That's true.
Well, I don't.
So.
No, this is just government land. Town private. I really think the Legion grounds it's been a camping thing. When I was younger and we did Boy Scouts, we camped up there all the time. I really don't see that that's a big issue. It's more out of town too. It's not like right in the town. I think the Legion grounds is fine, there's do some camping.
So does that mean we would, that the temple riders would have to buy permits?
No, because that falls under special events. Special event.
Special. Gotcha.
Okay with not camping it. I know ordinance.
Yeah.
So if there is the concern from the community that there are, there, one of the tailgate parties, somebody was camping there, and I had 3 people come and say, hey, did you see somebody's in there? Of course I did. There's nothing I can do about it. They're allowed to camp here. That's just the way it is. If we don't, there's nothing to, we don't want it there, then we need to take it out of the ordinance and change it. And I feel for the moms and community. Right? There was never, where my kids grew up, you couldn't camp in the city parks. That was you had never been in city parks in Lincoln. The other places you can't camp there. This is the first place I've ever worked that is allowed camping in city park.
Yeah, you can't compare those to Utah.
I can. The same. It's what you say.
But what I'm getting at is, say you and Davis are out of town. And you don't come back till late at night, and there's an old couple that pulls in there with a motorhome, pulls up, sets up for the night. You come in late at night and they're camping there, are you gonna pull up to them, say you can't camp here, you gotta get out?
It's the ordinance, yes.
And I don't like that.
If it's against the ordinance, and that's what we choose to do, that there is no camping in the thing, if I came back into town, then I would have to go and say,
Yeah, you just post a
you
sign.
can't, you can go up to the Legion Park. Or go to the Flying J for the night, or go to Greg's place for the
So I
night.
know over the years, there've been several people come here that pull them in, camp overnight, and they leave the next morning.
Most of the people that come in the summer are here for one night.
Yeah.
They stop on their way. The last one I think I knew of was going from Washington, so stopped for the night, and on the next morning first thing. They just needed a place to camp. There was a bathroom right there. There we go.
Our family traveled to Mount Rushmore. We went all through Wyoming, and every one of those parks had a sign that said no overnight camping.
Yeah.
Every single one. You can go in there and you can have your lunch, you can go do your thing, but none of those parks allowed overnight camping.
It's a matter of what, honestly, what we want the town to be in the future. I know there is the. Just like Greg said, there's people that don't want it to grow. The bad thing about growing is we attract more people that are risque. There's always gonna be those things. Do we want them where the kids play? Maybe not. Do we want to be able to control where they go? If they go to Greg's and causing problems, it's gonna call us and we're gonna come deal with them. We may not know that's a problem at the park until the next day to later, because nobody's there monitoring. Because we're not on 24/7. We're not watching the parks all the time. I know the kids play, they can run around the whole town. Because it's a small town. If the town grows, that may limit how much running around the kids can do, because now it's a bigger place. But I mean, that's down the road before that ever happens.
The other thing is you can just tell them, hey, go to the Legion Park. You don't even have to write them a ticket.
Comment. I just came back from Wickenburg. If anyone's ever been down to Wickenburg or Gila or any of that area, it started out as a desert, nobody was out there. It now is huge. Now I just left. Wickenburg right now, the city council just had a huge meeting on ordinances on how many livestock you can have on your property. It will kill the town of Wickenburg, because where I'm staying, there's 30 horses on 5 acres. And the peak is probably gonna go through. I went out to a Gila with a friend of mine, and it looks like a Indian reservation. And they are clamping down out there on the trailers and how many you can park. You can't, so now the city, you can't even hook a trailer up or build, you have to build a building on a pavilion, no power or water to your property. So I mean, keeping Cokeville, this old ancient town, do what you want kind of aspect is to me gone. Like the world has evolved. Technology's evolved. The kids nowadays talk to 50,000 people on their phone, where I talked to 5 at the park when I was a senior in high school. I mean, of course, I got investment in the RV part, but I think as far as you're trying to, you have a beautification committee, whatever, kind of clean the town up, we just passed north, clean the town up. Let's keep everything on the same goal, like stick with it. And then enforce it when you have something, if you, like, wait, somebody comes in at 10 o'clock, and like, enforce it, well, hell yeah, we are, that's the law. Enforce it. I mean, I get so tired of. We do, it depends who you are, sometimes we let this flow, but then we're not gonna do this, we don't wanna infringe on this guy's property, or he's gonna go ape shit, or. You guys do what you want. The town needs to change it, I get that.
The bathroom.
I do have a concern about, I don't know, we have a lot of people come into town, during the rodeo season. And they have sleeping quarters in the front of the trailers. I mean, are we gonna keep them from that? See, it passes, I know, it's under here, it's under special
Just let them
event.
know before, if you gotta send it out.
Yeah, but if we, but do they know that?
Is there a way
If
we
we put
can figure it out?
if we put a little sign up there that says no camping, they don't know that there's.
Well, I mean,
no
like,
camping.
when we send out the information on the rodeo,
Yeah,
we just say, hey, we've got a new city ordinance, this is what it is, so that they know, they can plan accordingly.
yeah.
That falls under special events, it's
It
not
does.
gonna be, where it's
It
a
does.
mute point,
Yeah.
so.
So I'm usually the one working with this. No, and so
No way.
the last thing I do every night, I check the schools and I check the park, just to see. Kids are over there and camping over there, because as the San Bernardino chief said, you gotta go in the city camping. Most of the time, people ask me about camping here, I tell them the park or the leaching ground is better because it's secluded, you're on your own. That's out of the way. As far as it goes, like Chief also already mentioned, we're not 24 hours. Also, one of us is on call, but we're not patrolling 24 hours. So if someone pulls in at 3 in the morning, we're not gonna know, and if they leave at 7, and chief comes on, we're not gonna know they camped there overnight. For a few hours. So as much as we're on, we would patrol and do as much as we can there. There are those instances where we can't get everyone that camps there. But we would love to be. But the other thing with that I'll just say is that I can't remember if it was Wayne or you, Cody, is this gonna fix the problem that was at hand that started the whole conversation for the camping and permitting people to live or in a trailer in front of someone's house.
In my opinion, that's two separate, this is my opinion, that's two separate discussions. Yeah, I think that there need to be something on our books about dwellings. Problem.
I think this does it, Chelsea.
Is it for you that you love about? It's just something that we're like the good old hometown that it's a place, is that what it is?
Cokeville's been ruled out. And, 3 years in I've been growing up here. I've lived here 63 years, I didn't move. And, I've seen people come in and out, camp there overnight. Nothing's ever been wrong, sure, there's always a few cases. But a few. And nothing big, damage is done, over the trash, laying on the ground and stuff like. But this idea of, people there in Cokeville, or Wickenburg, Arizona, or Utah, or whatever. It drives me nuts. Because we're trying to make Cokeville what it's not.
I understand what you're saying, for sure.
And, our growth here, sure, we need some growth. But I've been approached by several people from Star Valley that I've worked with, that are old natives from up there. And the growth came in around them. They've told me, keep what you've got and appreciate what you've got, because you get growth, you get trash. And, I don't want trash in Cokeville. Do we have it? Yes, we do. Some of the places that, you know, that we're talking about. But in a small town, you've got to overlook certain things. And, I just like camping at the park. A couple come in or a little camper come in, park there at night, camp here, leave in the morning. I mean, people, come on, we got it. Sense.
We've not had a history of problems of people, you know, creating issues at the park, but we know of.
Not that I know of.
So I know of one incident where Sharon was cleaning and brought in weed buds that she found at the park. That one person had come in, camped, threw their buds out on the ground and left. When Sharon found them, kids were playing with them. Now, most of the people that do come and camp in towns are not your older couple. They're your younger, in your 20s kids that are just traveling the world for fun. And they have a different outlook than your older people that are just coming to stay in town. So I feel like you're right. There are the older couples, because I've had older couples come in and they've stayed the night and then they came and made a donation to the town. And that was great. But the people that we see are more in their 20s and they have a different quality of values than what Cokeville stands for. And I feel like that's something to take into consideration.
And I know there's some, you know, I could make a difference with a lot of them. A lot of the people I've seen camp there overnight have been people just going through, they're tired driving them, they camp there at the park, get a good night's sleep and they leave. I just think we make mountain level more.
There used to be a lot of put your thumb out and travel all over the country, but that doesn't really happen much anymore. I mean, I just think the town needs to start moving forward. If we pass this, this does not change Cokeville. This is not gonna change Cokeville. Can I amend? Do you have to close this one? How is this gonna work?
It's just discussion at this point.
I know, let's move it to an action. So how do we do that? Do we have to close this first? I motion that we do a first reading on Title 6, Chapter 2, 6-208, camping in town parks and within town limits, with the following amendment. On Section B, no person in the town of Cokeville shall camp or stay overnight, except at the Legion Park for no more than 3 overnight camping stays or within 2-week period, unless town issued camping permit is obtained and properly displayed. Basically, B and C, the only changes that I am asking to amend is, I do think it's fine to do it in the Legion. Change it to the Legion Park. And on Section C, we now include the main town park as an excluded area. And that the Legion Park is not. It is permitted under Section B. Everything else I think is fine.
Just to kick the can down the road just a little bit and have more thought on it, doesn't force us to do anything.
No, we still have 2 more readings. We move it forward and we fine tune it. I do think we need to send out just what I asked earlier, where you send out a poll, we get a pulse of the town.
We got some pulse tonight, so, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I see, yeah.
I think we
Come on,
got
Pat.
two pulses back there. There's no more pulse back there. Anyway,
Yeah, and when I first moved, we'd go walking at night and it was just dust and stuff. And my neighbor's 2-year-old was running around the park and I knew where mom and dad were. And so we'd be walking and he'd come up and he'd take my finger and we'd walk home with him. His parents didn't even know he was gone, but it's just the way Cokeville is. I grew up in Labarge, it's the same way, so, but times have changed, so I can understand where we need.
I mean, I don't lock my doors. I didn't do that, but I don't.
I do.
So, and that would.
it's a public.
Right. Hey, some of the great things about it, but it doesn't. So.
Just your guys' work for a few.
Motion's on the table. Any further discussion? Not all in favor? Aye. We are at public comment. We failed to mention something, pizza.
Yes. Our cheer squad went and, Brandy, you know more about this than I do. Would you please tell us everything they did?
State took third in the game day and fourth in hip hop. And Stacy got coach of the year again.
Yep, good for her. Yep, thank you.
Any other public comment we need to address or? You've got it all put out there on the camping thing or what? Oh, David just needs to talk.
I just have real quick, if you want me to come up. For the Historical Society, I was gonna bring it up last month and I forgot. They planned the date for their Historical Society trek for the county. The day they want to come to Cokeville is August 7th. They're gonna present it and promote the trek as a whole at the governor's conference at the end of this month. Their plan is that they're gonna have a lunch here. They're gonna come here in the morning, have a lunch here, and then spend the rest of the day here. And then venture off into probably Smoot and just Athens thing from there on. As of far as right now, the Historical Society is looking for volunteers here in town that would act as tour guides. I brought it up in December's council meeting as well, but if there's any of you guys that are willing to volunteer for that, or if you know of anyone that would be willing to volunteer. As of right now, they kind of just want a couple locations in Cokeville that would span the whole day. That they could go to and learn about some of Cokeville's history and some of the things that have happened here. I know there's a lot of stuff at the high school. They have a couple display cases full of plaques and awards, and they've got walls of trophies because of Titletown. And then I know, obviously you can't go in the Opera House, but we have the Opera House that they can go to, and Town Hall and a couple other historical buildings they can see. But if you as a council think of any one or any other things that they can go to, you can contact me or contact them and go from there. So I just kind of want to present you guys with the dates specifically, so that way you guys can have it planned and go from there.
And that was the 7th of August.
Yes.
Thanks.
I mentioned Kevin Weston, he's very knowledgeable
Yes.
of the history of this area.
Yeah.
And also Dennis Nate is very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Glenn Birch is, they didn't live in the community, but in the Tigers, maybe, people from the line.
Okay.
Very knowledgeable.
Probably could do a tour of the the murals and paintings in school.
Yeah,
Talk about her history and.
yeah. And that was the only thing, I'll obviously have to talk with Chief and with Mr. Dees and see about both of those schools and if that'd be possible. By that point, the mural here at the town hall should be hopefully done. They'll be hopefully done by the 4th of July, and then all of that stuff, so that's kind of what we're going with, and they're also probably gonna end up going to Pine Creek, so I'll have to talk to everyone up there and make sure that's okay, and obviously it's not gonna be snow, but it will still be cool to see
Right.
the whole area up there and
Well,
whatnot,
it's
so.
since it's a historical building, because the main part of the lodge used to be the depot down.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
so I don't wanna pass that off to you guys, and if you guys have anything for me later on, you guys can let me know, so. That's all I've got.
Good.
Any other public comments? All right, we'll move into reports from officers. Open name.
Yeah, as far as the streets go, there are some streets that are starting to break up a little bit, but we've got plans to get that taken care of. Talked with Mike about it. Later in the spring, it's still a little cold to do that yet, I guess. Will be, and then there was a leak, I guess, today in the building, and Weston took care of that, so I want to thank him for doing that. And other than that, as far as facilities and everything, we're good.
Okay.
Okay, okay, so, we still have, a lot of things that are kind of just on the table. I know economic development, Sarah, you covered that pretty good, thank you, and thank you for letting me know I didn't have a meeting at 7 a.m. That's considered. Yeah. But we still got, it's scary to think about, but Easter's coming up pretty soon. And where are we with the high school? Okay. Cause it'd be, and you know, I have friends who take their kids to the old high school in Montpelier. And that's where they have that. I know. I know. And so that way we might not have to worry about it. We'll just do it on the town park. So, but anyway, so, and then I know, at our meetings with the beautification committee, we're all really working together, and we need to try and get some people together, because we can't all do it just with the few of us. And so that we can have a good program and everything for the 4th. And still it'd be nice to have burgers and whatever, and that the town could do, and along with the program for the 4th. So we're still working towards things. It just seems really slow sometimes. Okay. Yeah, I did.
Oh, wait.
And do you want to?
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
It's gonna go first and then I'll.
That's right, they do. So. No.
I already am.
Ouch.
So I've kind of taken the lead for the signage for town. The first question I've got, because I've had a couple people approach me about the signs, is do we have to get a bid out for the signs, or is it one that we can, is we like the pricing of this place or this person, we're gonna go through that?
As long as it doesn't exceed 25,000.
Yeah.
Five?
Huh?
I thought it was 30.
No,
No.
as long
It's
as
separate.
Wyoming law says if our cost
Wow.
begin to exceed 25,000.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
So I suspect we will be off the cuff, we'll basically street signs around town by the. By the.
What I've looked at, yeah.
Are these wayfaring or these just?
So as of, yeah, as of today, I've only looked at stop signs. The handicap signs here at town hall, and then a library sign.
Your parking sign.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I haven't done any of those. I've only done these. And as of that I found, roughly close to 4,200 for just those signs alone. That's not including all the other ones. We gotta figure out kind of how you want the wayfinding signs to go. We've also kind of talked about, redoing the the three corners signs here in town. And then possibly, I don't know how it would work out, putting another one closer out by the three corners, so that way people know where they're going. But I don't know if that'd be anything to do with us, or if that have to do with the county, because that's on Chamber saying. But I'm still waiting to hear back from a couple people for quotes on pricings. I guess my biggest question for you is, so we don't have any of these main street stop signs because they're wide out maintained. But Mike, I might be wrong, but those are 30 inches, right? Those are 30-inch stop signs. The ones that I was looking at for the stop signs were 24 inches. And which is still pretty big. The first one I was looking at was 18 inches.
Too small.
And then when I realized those were 30, I'm like, oh, we'll probably go bigger, so 24. And they can tend to run,
What's the size of the ones we have now? Have you measured?
depends on what street you're on.
Yeah, every street's different.
So there's the sign on Pearl coming towards the high school is about 8 inches. But the one, if you're going on Pine by the high school, that one's 18 inches. And then there's a couple of yield signs that aren't even stop signs down on the west side of the tracks. So if we got new signs, which we will, we'll do them all the same.
Uniform.
And so I was doing 18 inches, and then I talked to Brittany, she said we should do 24, so.
Yeah.
So 24 is what we're kind of looking at.
It's not a big difference in cost too.
Yeah, it's not. And then, so Mike gave me the numbers that we put together, and he put together. Overall street signs, just the names, was 73 street signs, and then stop signs, we had 42. So.
You need yield signs.
So that's the other thing we talked about. We do have yield signs. But there are only a handful of them, and we figured if we're gonna have a yield sign, we might as well just have a stop sign there instead.
People just treat them as yield
I
sign.
mean, most of the people here treat stop signs as yield signs anyways,
That's right.
Hey, cause it's
So-
Cokeville.
so. And most of the yield signs are over on the west side of the tracks, over there. Most of them are right over there.
There's a couple of this.
And there's a couple over here, but there's more over there. And there's also streets over there that don't have, like any
Any
signage.
signs.
There's definitely a yield sign in front of my house.
So that's.
I mean, it seems to be a big yield sign there.
And they've got pretty new signage over there.
Mhm.
So if anybody's going up to regional or whatever. Maybe take a second and take a look at what the signs look like. They got
I can go get some images, I'll be in.
pretty basic, I mean, yeah, but it's informational and they're new and they look good.
Yeah, the prices,
I could get information from that sign.
Yeah, just an example of what we're kind of looking for, because it's a perfect example. You're pretty basic, yeah. The ones I noticed were the wayfindings.
So. So the old book that had the master plan, it actually had a bunch of signage and a design. And I think we should get that to them and make them look at it and see what they think.
Mike has a copy.
There's some really cool, there's some cool signs.
Street. Side, left or right, having the town logo. It's kind of why we also started talking about the town logo. And then we've kind of taken. Figure out that the whole logo stuff.
That's a similar application with Banner. Just have they have, it's like a little logo at the top. Libraries this way. Direction. Some things are like, there's a mile, like, oh, it's 5 miles down. Not very.
My only concern about putting a logo on the street sign, and Brittany's probably tired of me hearing from me about it, but if we put the logo on the street sign and then 6 months, a year, 2, 3 years, however long it takes for the council or someone to say, oh, let's change the town logo, and then the logo for the town is changed, but the logo on the street sign is there.
Guess we better get that logo
Why
right.
we shouldn't change the town logo.
So that's why.
It'll make it easier to keep it
Yeah.
longer.
So,
If we're gonna change it, it needs to be changed before we do the sign.
Yeah. so the signs that I've looked at, you can put a picture on it. If we can leave that blank, because the one I've looked at, leaving in blue and having a white space. Maybe we can make a decal of the town logo, and then if it does end up getting changed, just taking that decal off and putting the new decal on.
And you can probably keep it fresher that way too. If. By just redoing all the logos every so many years anyway.
But Mike has a copy of
Okay.
it, and it's got some really cool.
It's got some good stuff in.
it.
I just wanted to give that as an idea. To go through. I'm interviewing people that are going through. what it is. So,
Well, if you know somebody there, yeah. My uncle's on the council.
Way to go,
Staff and I could have him.
We do have someone that's here in town that has offered to send me a quote as well for the signs, so. If we can go local, obviously we're gonna try to, but, if we've got 30,000. I think just for the street sign and stop sign, we shouldn't get anywhere close to that, so. But. Also, I also need to figure out, get with you and see what your ideas was for wayfinding. Or like getting a green sign down on Main Street that just says library this way, town hall this way, post office this way. We'd rather have it closer to town hall so you can narrow going left instead of straight, that kind of stuff, but.
Yeah, we need to kind of a list of the specific wayfinding things that we.
That you guys would prefer to have.
Yeah.
I'd love to see the transportation.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And design, we come to last. We kind of. Save us some time.
I would say highlight the big things for sure, like library, the park,
Legion ground.
Legion grounds, rodeo grounds, ski resort that way. Those things that kind of attract people to town. As they come. Come home.
We weren't there. Schools, right?
That was the other thing was. You,
I just know some people were sensitive about the elementary schools.
And I know people do still show up, but. As it stands. Yeah,
During the summer.
it's crazy, this. Cardinals stopping on the highway and after the school. But as it stands right now, there's not a sign specifically showing where the schools are at.
my thoughts on this, we can't find. No.
Person who can't find it.
So,
I would prefer we didn't. School. But
and I wasn't too concerned about having a wayfinding sign for the high school, especially how many opposing schools we have here. But maybe we do one to the, instead of the high school, the football field. Throwing a sign where football field and Brad's house is, same thing.
Yeah.
Where the yield sign is, it's an octagon.
That's all I have for you. I just wanted to kind of ask you those couple questions.
Fastest thing, yeah.
Get the ball rolling for those by next time.
thank you.
I know this is going really long, so I'm trying to be fast. We threw this together really fast, so I don't have a paper to put in front of you. We are trying, well, I'm sure you saw, we won the grant for the mural. It's official. We're moving forward with all the things. Tracy's been amazing to start trying to build our application process. We're hoping that we can get quite a few. I've had people show interest. I know Deb said she forwarded on somebody. So we're really hoping that we can snag an amazing artist for that. We're working on another grant with Fred's group or the Lincoln County Recreation Commission. I spoke with Carrie Girl this week and also another member of the commission. And then I met with Mike this morning, trying to really pin down what we wanted to do. It has to be a public property, which doesn't leave us a lot of option, and especially in the time frame that we have. This is due the end of this month. Which is why we're here tonight, to try to get this bare bones kind of approval going. We wanted to do some things at the park. And so when I talked with Mike, he had some amazing suggestions. The sprinkler system. Doing a little bit of an overhaul on that. I know you kind of have started. I know he said that you have some new heads and you did do a portion of it. But he's like the control system of it, maybe, the pipes might not be quite the thickness that they should be. So we talked about maybe requesting funds to redo the sprinkler system as part of this fund. They told us to shoot for the moon, but we're gonna kind of cap it maybe at 30K and see what we get. We'll prioritize things, and so the sprinkler system, we thought maybe. Mike also suggested the electrical over the pavilion, update the lights. They're pretty old, maybe do some new fluorescents, do a few things with the electrical. We don't want to do too much yet, because when talking with Charles this week, a master plan would be amazing. But we know that also takes funds and the grants won't cover that. So,
You confirm they won't provide funding for planning.
Yeah, they won't provide funding for planning.
And that's just some context on that. So I spoke with Jill Ellen last night, who does this professionally down in Utah. And I said, if we have this money, what would you do? And she has kind of some small ideas like, chairs and things like that. She says, but you really, she's kind of candid. She said, our park's pretty drab.
Yeah.
And it's what I would do is I would start with a master plan and really involve the community and identify what do you want that to look like as our park in the future,
Right.
over time, and then break the projects and you implement over.
Right.
That was kind of her concept, and I like that approach.
I love that, but we also don't want to feel like we're stuck, not being able to do anything,
Right.
waiting on master plans. So we're like, what can we do that maybe is not going to be impacted by a master plan as much? I mean, I know a sprinkler system, we could decide to expand the footprint of the standard area or something, and then sprinklers could change. But, depending on when we're going to find 15 grand for a master plan in the city budget, we just don't know. But we
fix the leaky grounds. The grounds.
one of the things that they really focus on with the Spreads Group grant is how it can benefit kids. They want it to benefit kids, which is why we went with the park. The grass could really use some work. Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Mike and I talked about that too. Yeah. That's what Mike and we talked about that today, because that kind of came at the end. I was like, wait a minute, what does that get used for? I know it's the snow shack place. But
It's
I
supposed to be an
mean,
ice rink.
yeah, right.
If you have.
If you have a winter for it, or, and even then, and he said it, right now, something's happened, the cement's settled and it just
Yeah.
blows out all the lemon.
It's cracked every.
So that is definitely an option to look at that. But the park is, I mean, I think the tennis courts, they've done some work to the tennis courts, so I know we have basketball hoops there that the kids do use. So that's kind of, we had talked about a sunshade to go over the park. Play area that we can remove, and that's something that if the footprint changes, we would still have. Funding for that, and then maybe adding a few more benches. You know, like some of our benches are getting old or worn down, and then we want to maybe update the signage. And depending on whatever the camping thing ends up being, or I hadn't noticed, paid a ton of attention to the rules of the park. Making that a sign that is cohesive with all of our new signs. The city park sign itself that Trevor did is could definitely be restained, refinished. It doesn't look amazing. Maybe do some lighting around it or something. We just want to do some things to the park. If we can with this grant, and I know the time is really short. And so I guess we could decide if we want to throw in an option to do a basketball hoop or something, we could do that. We could try to see if we could get one installed and what it would take cost wise. But we need approval to chase after this, to do some improvements up part.
Okay with it. I move this, we allow the participation community to be in with this $30,000. Was this the T one or is this
The T-Mobile one,
Yeah.
Amy sent to me that she's also had in her back pocket forever, and that is one we wanna also chase. It's a 50,000. Thing we like about these grants are there are no matches. The T-Mobile is a $50,000 grant with no match. And they have it quarterly.
Yeah.
And we are gonna chase that one too, but just not for.
Thank you.
So the T-Mobile one, we don't have it. We need to figure out what we wanna do with that one too. Again,
For anything.
has to be a public property. They kind of are centered more with recreation as well, but they, city centers and stuff like that. But once you get into that, it's the maintenance after. That also cannot have plans. It has to be show ready and done within 12 months of awarding the money. So we're trying to plan it where our 12 months doesn't start in the winter. It would have to start in the spring. So that, and right now we're kind of slammed in our window between the mural and this one. We don't want to overextend ourselves, so we think we're gonna try to schedule it so it will be into next year's. But that's one that we are also gonna start. So if you have an idea, if you know of when I got on Onyx and tried to look at the properties that we have here, there's just not a lot that the city owns that we can do something with. I know that, like you said, the Legion
I
grounds.
think honestly, the Legion. Got it to work. Make it look like where you can camp and there's fishing there.
Can I make a suggestion? I suggest we put a pickleball court
Okay, where would you suggest to go?
right by the ice skating rink.
And
There's a little grass area behind it. Take it out. Right by the golf course.
so right,
You have to get rid of some trees, but
You have to get rid of some lilacs, but
is it lilac? Is it tree then?
maybe a tree.
cause I know
Here's my thought process on this is, there's a lot of community members that like pickleball for one. But for two, the summer traffic would definitely utilize it. And I know a lot of places have put them in. And they've utilized this grant for that.
okay. That's an idea, for sure.
I have a comment.
Yeah.
Over there where I put up the volleyball net and nobody ever used it. And part of it is because the grounds kind of, is that an area where we could put a pickleball?
So in front of The harm is in that for us. Somewhere to go.
And I've gotten some initial quotes from actual professional pickleball court builders. And they're, $60,000-70,000. I think if some people that make concrete, like there is some people around here and know how to make it hold together. Cheaper than that. Utilizing some of our own equipment to do the excavation prep work.
So is that gonna take out that whole area there?
Well,
Where
there's,
the trees?
it's kind of a nuisance over there where that grass is in, it's part-time watering it. Keep it up because it doesn't have an automatic system in it.
So just daytime use, or you want lights and, or we'd have to just do that eventually. And it have to have some kind of coating, right? So it's not slick, has to be finished differently. The cement does.
Yeah, it really should.
You might have an in on that one. I see a few ads. You see a few ads there.
Okay.
And
Hey, maybe that's.
We already have the net stuff, we purchased all that.
Oh, you already,
We just need to build a quarter. So it's just the concrete pad that we need.
But it needs to be done really well, because that's why we have cracks in them we have already. It has to be.
And it can be,
We have already. It's been there about. Well, maybe because the old Utah Power and Light Company. What Power and Light Company?
They just did extra cement on the outside edge.
Just. So you can put those lids on so you get the car and have the.
well, the nice thing about this Survive Script grant is that we can chase it year after year and add to projects that we do. I know they were saying Big Piney, they got a steel building donated. And then they've gradually added a kitchenette, and they did basketball hoops, and they did bathrooms, and they've just added year after year using this grant. And it really has benefited their community a lot. But again, we need to have the infrastructure to support the maintenance of that afterwards. But I think these are great ideas that we could do moving forward, because we do need some recreation other than just the park. And yeah.
yeah, there's enough room back there for 60 by 60.
Okay. Okay. So we can look into that.
We may.
Okay. Awesome.
It's shovel ready, right?
Well, there you go. Well, that was one of our next steps after this, is we were gonna do a Facebook poll and say who would be willing to offer their talents, services, labor, some of those things, because some people want to help. They just don't know maybe some projects that we're working on, and so that was kind of the next step on this, is maybe seeing what kind of. Because that's one thing that they said about the Big Piney places, that everybody in town donated their labor, so they do. So that makes a difference in your costs.
Just even though it would require.
Right, I'm active labor, yeah. Right. The thing that we're worrying about with this one, with Red's group, if we do the sprinklers, is trying to figure out how to time it. Because the event Teresa's planning on the 4th, like, could we logically, if we get this grant in April, have sprinklers in by July and have that grass all back up and so that's something that we would consider too. Or we wait, and but this grant has to be moving forward, they come and check this fall on our progress. And so,
Check.
and they do check, no, that's what Carrie said, we don't have to check in the fall, and we do projects that we've been awarded. So if you think of other.
Yes. T-Mobile. Do 4 open application. Times here. So if we really wanted to, and
because we wanted to do it by the end of this quarter. And we're like, well, since it's 4, we'll wait till the next one, we after. We have to be ground ready, shovel ready to go. So we might end up waiting a little bit longer, just so we can start. Or if we don't do it in this next one, we start in the spring, so we've got the whole warm month to do it, and we're not trying to start it in the winter.
So the T-Mobile grant's 50K? And the other grant is how much?
Well, we don't know. They just said shoot for the moon, but they have a budget and if you just depend on the applicants they have. And they kind of go in list of priority. If they can't fund your whole thing, they might just give you a partial, whatever was your number one priority.
Shot. Yeah. We did first year, we shot for a big boom, you're like, yeah. But, I think last couple of years, first year was like 2,500, the second year was like 5,800 something.
Can see, we will put line items of different things, which is why we thought we have a bunch of different line items like sprinklers, lights, benches, then they can choose. Okay, awesome. We can wait for that one. We don't even know what we want. So, okay. Not yet, no, we just started trying to get it all. Okay, I'm going to the Evanston free ride. I can't do the, yeah. That's what, and Amy. Like, that's. Okay, and that's all I have. Thanks, Brittany.
All right, Councilman Harmon, you're up now. You don't get to shell it off to anybody else yet.
Water, Mike, the chlorinator's up and going. Okay. And the sewer plant might give me a thing here, we need to, put some work we need to do down the lagoon first, we got some replacement, we gotta put in there. Also the lift station here on Saturday. There's support that too. Okay. So we got expense, we got it. Sewer systems. For the plant. The lift station.
We have a motion to.
What is it? What are they, what's it selling it?
So it's to make our system actually coincide better with our SCADA. If we operate off of our SCADA. Currently, there's some parts of it, like we get enough information, we can see it. But it's not fully functional off of our SCADA system. Because our stuff was too old for it to interface.
Radar sensor for $2,100. Trying to do serve well. Those are either or. Either or. Which one do you prefer? We have that the station.
It was only given to us two. Mike,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mike brought it in.
Vertical transduction, what you're looking at. It's just as good as the other. That's $1,200. The installation on $600. We got mileage and expenses on top of that.
This is for this company to come do it.
Yeah, they're doing some work on all those.
But it's a necessity, so.
So if they're already working on stuff here, are they staying here already? Then-
They do work for us all the time. So like they're one of our go-to people. That's what I mean.
Okay. So we're looking at,
Either or on the top of it.
It's an either or.
Yeah, it's either this or this.
One or the other. And then we're doing
Okay,
$3,500.
3,500 to 5,000 max.
Is that already in the budget? Oh,
I
another
think
question.
it's part of, yeah,
Another question I have is, you're on an audit, you're 20% over.
That's for sure,
Okay,
if that helps you.
was that, there was no overage in sewer?
Original.
There was overage in both?
There's overage in sewer, but we got reimbursed for that.
part of it, yeah, you gotta kind
We
of,
just didn't cut it.
I'm just saying,
yeah,
looking at,
so there is some explanation, and part of it is because of what we put in. Serious work down the sewer plant that year. It was just a one time. It shouldn't.
next year, if it is, then we need to,
We need to address it.
we need to address it.
Actually, it'll probably be 2 years, because the new well isn't fully figured into our system yet. It's gonna take another year of it operating into us to see what it costs us to have, does that make sense?
Okay,
Okay, one other thing, oh, we got one on the phone with that too.
Yeah, we better have a motion to vote
I'll
on
make
that.
that motion.
Second. Wayne, second by Teresa. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Okay, one other thing is, we need a bigger propane tank down in the sewer, down the plant. Up the water well. Up the water well? Above the plant. The old water well. Oh,
I may have given you the wrong information.
okay.
You just needed a new.
on the paper it is.
I know where it's at.
Yeah, up the water well.
Sorry, I mixed them up.
Talk over it.
Go ahead, too small, isn't it?
Yeah, so where we're not using that well as often, we gotta kind of heat the building a little bit more than what we used to, so it doesn't freeze up. And our propane tank there is not small enough for us to keep up with the heat or not big enough to keep up with the heat. And it runs out of propane before he can get up here to fill it.
How big is it?
I think it's 100 gallons, so.
Oh, really small one. Do we have to own it or do you lease?
We can lease it, but that ties us into only use them then to fill it. If we own it, we can have anybody who wants to.
How much is
You
it?
mean different, on different? I thought we get a bid and that person's filling it every year anyway.
We don't own the tank, we are stuck to the own.
And they'll fill it whenever they want to.
That's right.
Not when you want them to.
Right.
So if you don't want them to fill it over the summer, because you're not using it for heating, they'll just, they'll fill it.
They'll fill it whenever they.
If they're leasing it something.
What's the size you're looking at?
They recommend putting it in 500.
What's the buying one? Or even can we get one right now?
Yeah, you can get it.
So he quoted me 3,500 for a 500 gallon. Or we could lease it for $100 a year.
How much variability has there been in propane prices between different vendors through the last couple of years? Is there a significant swing?
So what the problem is now we're not being able to go to bid. When we go to bid, they give us basically a cut rate. If you don't go to bid, if you're tying off to not going to bid, you get market price the day they fill. whatever it is. So, in my opinion, we are much better off purchasing the tank. Long-term wise, it will pay for itself in what we save on by going to bid for propane. Even if it's the same company that builds it, we're getting a better rate. There was a couple years where I sat on this council where we didn't go to bid and our propane bills were almost triple what they are now. So we could very easily pay for the propane tank in some area.
How many times has it ran out so far?
It rounds out about every month, like that.
So he's come 3 times to fill it where it's been empty,
It's 100.
the 100-gallon. He's come to fill it. And for the last 3 times he's come to
How
fill it,
often
it's
does
been
it?
out.
No. Once a month? Once a week?
It just sounds like a no-brainer to me.
My suggestion is we purchase 500 gallons. That's my suggestion. I haven't fully figured out where the money's gonna come from, but we figured. Cause it's not worth us losing the equipment up there. Because we don't have.
But he doesn't always get here once a week, is what you were saying?
No, he just
No,
doesn't,
he,
he gets here, he just doesn't. Depending on what the temperature is outside. Whether or not he's still got propane in the tank.
What are the size tanks you can buy? Does it,
253, 500.
so the one in between is 2,500? Is that what you said?
so there's, so
100,
for 500,
500.
Where's your out? Everybody's talking at once. Fine.
I believe the 500 gallons don't be, that.
Motion by Teresa, second by Charles. Any further discussion? All in favor of purchasing a 500-gallon tank? Aye. Motion carried.
That's part of the infrastructure.
Hold on.
So.
Did we give an amount on that? What we just voted for?
Cost.
Anyway,
Yeah, we can buy one from any propane dealer.
doesn't have to be new.
No.
No,
I'm saying 500, no, we want 1,000 gallon.
so if we buy it through the company,
no, well,
they'll install it for free. If we buy it from somebody else, then we have to pay somebody to come in and install it. That's the difference.
all the materials we install it, if that's the case.
We haven't used one that will work just fine still.
You have one on the market, do you?
They
Yeah.
is with that over the public entity like this. Have to come tested.
They'll have to inspect it anyway before they fill it, so.
That'd be great, that's a big.
Yeah, they'll inspect it before they fill it.
Did, see what we got bid on the truck.
Yep.
We did?
And how
We did.
much did we?
What did it end up?
55,000 total is what we paid for it.
So I guess there's no reason to look at the other thing, huh? What happened before?
Yeah,
Yes.
let that go. But anyway, it's,
Well, that's a killer deal from what you've said before.
Mike and Bentley and I went up and picked it up yesterday. We, on the way up there, we had a small discussion about it, and we thought since we were that low on it, maybe we better take it into a dealership and have them do a once over on it, see what it would take to get it fully up to snuff. And Bentley got on the horn and figured out there was a dealer in Pocatello, so we dropped it off at that dealer in Pocatello. We give them, have them give them a once over, they're gonna give us a bid on what it would take. Get it all up to snuff, if there needs any part for materials or anything like that.
Where are we gonna store it? Like during the winter and all that stuff?
We're hoping it'll fit in the shop.
Cause I mean, obviously, if we're investing in something like
I
that,
don't think it would.
We don't know yet.
It is, but I was talking about that with Mike today, we've talked about it before. It's, putting the roof over, it's one of the sections on that, something like that.
That's kind of what I was
I'm thinking we've gotta get room to, if we're gonna invest in this kind of
Exactly, I
stuff,
agree.
we've got to,
Keep it out of the.
there's no way.
Lean to, just something, keep it under, out of the weather.
I would like to impose that foundation we have over there. And just, even if we do a half enclosed and half left open on a lean-to or whatever. I think it would be beneficial to us, but I don't know what it would cost, and we'd have to get some.
Why don't we make a motion to get a bid on it?
You got.
I would like to make a motion to get a cover.
Open by Brad, just get a bid on the cover for the foundation and what do we call that, Mike? Sand foundation?
Okay, I think I misunderstood. Are we motioning to have Brad get the bid?
No.
Or are we motioning?
Just,
Just.
I gave the motion.
Yeah, a vote. Okay, that's.
I just gave the motion.
You got a second, Mike Wayne.
Do you guys have an idea who you would like?
Anybody?
Well,
It wouldn't hurt to ask the local people.
Yeah, get the locals.
Like Sid and.
Yeah,
I don't know if Stubbs being.
Stewart. All of them. Put it out there.
Dustin goes.
We're done that we want to bond. Finally.
Who seconded?
Any further discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye. They have to be bonded.
So basically on the sewer truck, we're gonna try and get a list of things that it might need or the things that we would like to have, so that's beneficial to the town. And have a quote on that. Probably agree with it. I don't think we'll have to have a special meeting, but where it's in the shop, we may need to have a special meeting. Approve that so that we can. One thing it did need is this windshield wipers need to fix. They didn't.
Can we make a motion up to a certain amount right now in case that goes through? Because they called me today.
They did.
They did. They didn't have any full information. They needed to, needed some more information, but they said that they had already started looking at it. So if we could approve a certain amount now, then you won't have to have your meeting unless it goes above that.
I don't even
Just an
know
idea.
what, I don't even know what to approve to.
Yeah, I think we wait.
I mean,
There might be surprises.
you got this, nothing there.
I would hope it wouldn't cost us more than 10 or 20 grand to give it all up to 100% snuff. What do you think?
I'm seeing that.
Oh, it'll cost that just the diagnostics.
So he told me 27 for the diagnostics. But they hadn't figured out everything so far, so
Somebody
27,
pretty
25,
big
27.
expenditure maybe. Conversation.
Yeah,
I think I'd feel more comfortable having a quote, but I do think we need to improve the ability. Which I think should be. If it's more than that, I think.
it's already being diagnosed right now, isn't it?
We're gonna
Yes,
pay
we're a
that
little behind. Can that be approved? Up to 5,000 for the diagnosis. Not to exceed 5,000.
Second. Second,
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Keep covering up my head. Charles, how many books you got for us today?
Just two quickly pages. Let's see. We'll go pretty quickly. Just pass this out. Share. Sure. Yeah, just quick update on the master plan. I spent an hour trying to figure out how to get that page to show on our Wix account. And I made no progress. And so I don't know if you have at a higher level of administration, but it's under the council. You can see it, just can't click on it. And so I'll work with you just to make sure it's available.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It has the transportation, it's all the signs and all those things up there. I just had run that issue. On February 20th. And Sarah, you can see this, but if you're around, Lincoln County Travel and Tourism is have a branding workshop in the afternoon from 12 until 5-ish. I will bring a professional marketer that teaches branding workshops. And the intent is to focus primarily on the county, on this one county. But I'd like some local representatives to go there because the same conversation applied to thinking about branding Cokeville as, tourism elements.
I probably get someone else, I will be out of town,
Except that you hate our town.
yeah, so,
So, but definitely want to make sure that we're represented.
yeah.
And I think Alicia from Pine Creek is on the board. I think she is.
I'll think of some people, public, you can make out,
Okay.
see if they'd be there.
I just, saw that grant management notification, today. Like I said, the pre-award, my understanding is this is where you find the grants, you find the funding, you do the application. And then there's the administration, the project grant management, which is why we need. And it'd be good to have one in both. I mean, if you were, I work with organizations that just live on grants. And this is just really for competency that they have organization, because it's how they get fed financially, it's how they build on these projects. So it'd be nice to have to put some thought together on, I don't know if we not necessarily designate a grant man or grant getting grants, but usually they'll either do an hourly or they'll receive a percentage of grants, but you have to reward and motivate them in some way to go out these funds. Otherwise, you don't get them. I don't really have, I think they start on this next point. I think they funded the AmeriCorps Vista program again. I need to look at what the next cycle is. I had the application in as a fund for all time. And this would be the type of person that could be designated to go out for grants and so forth. I just had a question on the nuisance ordinance. I know, I was just looking back through my notes. I know that you passed things. I know that law enforcement become a baseline of facilities and of properties. And my understanding, you can't do a lot until something significant changes in terms of the properties and in terms of enforcement. But maybe what's the status on that?
So when we started, we did take pictures of properties. And once the snow clears, we'll take pictures of properties again. There's some I know change for the better. Some I think have changed for the worst. Once we get those pictures, we'll probably send the first letters out for the ones that change the worst.
So does that include houses that people have recently moved into? That, the yards?
I haven't taken pictures of that house that you're talking about.
When we initially took the pictures, there wasn't anybody there.
Okay,
So
It wouldn't matter anyway, because it's a new person and it's after the
Yeah,
law.
so that
Right.
that
So it
one
wouldn't
is
matter.
a little different. Once
Right.
if they have the issue, we just probably talk.
it's just that.
Well, it's a new ownership, so they're already under the law.
The ones that have the grandfather in, we have pictures of.
Right.
there's changes to that, then we go after.
Okay.
Any new ones that have come up, we start going after, we'll have a space.
Right. Okay.
Oh, that could be a difference too.
We had a session. I put together the executive summary on this, and some of it was, we had comments on things that we on as council. But then there were those open-ended questions. We got all the staff have a chance to participate in what do we want to keep, what do we want to, what's missing is desired, what exists but is not wanted, or what is neither wanted nor desired. And so we just kind of summarize that in this documentation. And ideally, we can reschedule a time that John actually talked about specific projects, goals, things like that. And usually, we have plans, and we have to balance what's the long-term plans we're working on, what are the short-term, high-impact of things that can even see like the beautification committee. Those are the type of things that people can come back and say, oh, we see things are different. Big mural, it's on the wall, and so there's them. But I have heard that from John. I'd like to look at scheduling another meeting, either be next council meeting or as another time. I think what we find when we get together is there's a lot of this. And certainly as we're going into budgeting, our budgeting should reflect the priority. So if we say, oh, we have all these big things we like to do, but we don't allocate any resources, it just demonstrates we're not serious about those things. Because as governments, you understand all the limitations, but you fund or you find funding for the things reported. So anyway, I get back with you with some data times that John has next while, but I'd like to at least have one session before we get too deep into the budget.
Well,
So are you thinking of sometimes in the next 30 days? 2 weeks?
No.
Yes, I come in next week.
he said that.
So I can check with John, find out if he's available. Monday was a good day for people. And
It's better. At least for me.
that's really the question. What is the next availability for the next couple of weeks?
Consult the Bible there.
You got the picture.
I'm gonna say right now that the only time that we can use the council room is going to be the first week in March. So that might limit to where you guys need to go, but it's booked out. There's a lot going on right now with the progress, the 4-H and everything.
Yeah, we don't.
So I'm just letting you know that's something to think about.
We could go downstairs,
If we could,
in the
in the
senior center.
The problem with that is we don't have this. So think of this, so this, we can't wear that.
We can't go downstairs.
I didn't say, I don't know. I will say that. I'm saying, I don't know if there's a TV down there that has the internet connection to it or anything like that, is what I'm saying. We have to look into it.
There's the whole building. The PLC, yes.
Well, I'm talking about the internet connection, is it connected?
I mean, I can go check after the
Yeah.
meeting, but that's an option, is what I'm saying.
Monday's the second.
Works great for me. Exactly.
So would one of us take no further?
Barbara, we'd have to ask Barbara.
Ready.
There's a thing called, it takes really good notes.
I prefer the second.
The Monday.
March, oh, my.
We're still back.
Yeah.
So let's approve. Attend.
That's 23rd.
It's my birthday. We don't get in.
Hey, 12 o'clock meeting.
It's 11 o'clock. If you guys gonna have a meeting at 2 in the morning, you can make me.
The Moab on the 24th, and so have a word.
Or I'm all the way open on the 27th. That's reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
That's the problem. You're gonna run into regional and state. That's why I say the first of the week will be fine. But I will definitely be gone. We could zoom you in. Hold on, did you get your new phone yet? Oh, no? We are not zooming you in then, it looks like.
So we could use.
Yes.
We'll be in the small room.
That's all. I have.
Hold on here, let's get that in the calendar. You guys have your iPads, put it in your calendar. The work meetings. So we're adding. At 3 o'clock. Any title for the work meeting?
Just. It's like,
Is this to do with master plan or just?
it would tie into it. It's more short, I think, more short term master plans.
I know.
All right, strategic planning. Works for me.
Yeah, you and me both.
Just start scribbling by.
Is that what we said, 3 p.m.?
Yeah. Slotting a specific time?
3.
No, how many hours are we gonna get?
Sure, it'll take at least probably 2.
I'm just saying, let's try to,
3 to 5.
I don't mind doing these meetings, let's
3 to 5.
timelines to them.
I would like to keep it less than hours.
3 to 5.
I mean. It's okay for you to slam the Bible and say, let's move to the next subject. Hey, use your hand. All right, we're gonna put 3 to 5.
Okay, I guess we are rapidly approaching budget session. Mike. You agree your budget, make sure we got it. Same, please. Then as we. Gonna have to have some work sessions. To hash this out. It takes 3 readings to read the budget. And it is due. We should have it read in June.
Finished in June?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, in other words, we gotta have
April, May.
April, May, June. The problem is, we don't get all our numbers back and. Or to us until
Till June.
end of May usually. So we're going off of guesses until then. In the meantime, we need to have some work sessions to kind of hash out. Making sure we got everything covered and was gonna change on those budgets.
I need to interject really fast. We need to have a special meeting on the next town council meeting. For the liquor licenses.
Oh, yes, that's true.
So we need to do that before the town council meeting that starts at 7. So we either need to do it at 6 or 6:30, just so everybody's aware. For the next meeting,
6:30 would be, should be, probably,
you would know better than I
it
would.
doesn't
So just,
take that long.
so everybody at the next town council needs to be here earlier.
6:30 or 6?
For this special meeting for the.
Actually, we could do it at 7 and just. Open the meeting with us.
That's fine, that's
So
what
just
we're
keep
doing.
it at 7.
Okay.
It doesn't take about 5 minutes.
Yeah, we could be done in 5.
Yeah.
Actually, it's gonna be a little different because I'm taking over from Jody,
Yeah,
so you have to, so that will be a little bit different.
all we gotta do is just go, basically entertain the motion to approve it. We'll have an agenda. We'll go through the agenda. Entertain the motion to approve it.
Okay.
Hope that meeting and stuff. It shouldn't take more than 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay, sounds good.
That means you have to be behind the door.
No, no, executive session.
Exactly.
So I want also the council members to kind of look at their departments and make sure that they're funded according to what they want to be funded or what. So take your budget, make sure it's where you think it needs to be. If there's something you want to change or want to change. This is our opportunity to address this thing. Doesn't mean that we can change everything or have the latitude to do that, but this is where we look at it. On another note concerning budgets, because of what we have had to take care of with our audit. And with this truck, we may have to have. Another reading, a rereading of our budget, of this year's budget. To account for the monies that was going on. Savings put into that, it's the one-time reading resolution to the budget. But we will probably do that closer to June anyway, I just don't want any confusion about what we're talking. When we talk about it, because there's gonna be 2 of them that take,
Okay,
So post budget and pre budget.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's for the truck, the pump truck.
And we had to pay our audit bill that we hadn't paid for 3 years. We didn't know. We accounted for it the last couple of years, but it never got billed to us to get paid. The store services renders needed for all. Yeah, it's legit, but it's just, we didn't account for it in this budget to make it.
I got a question budget wise.
Yes.
So we made a motion to pull back on some. Because of the SCADA change,
Mm-hmm.
we know how much that. Have we pulled that back yet?
Pulled back on. Guess I'm a little confused.
The all west bills.
We haven't pulled those, they're ready to cancel, we just talked to Mike yesterday about it, we're good to cancel those 3, so I don't think they've got them canceled just yet.
Okay, but we want to find out what that number is, so know what or not, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
where
it'll
we're
be-
saving there.
Yeah, it'll be $100. 3 services that we're gonna be able to shut off.
It's good, just one update on it, thank you. When is that planned to be shut off then? The first of March?
we were hoping to have it done this week. but I don't
I
know.
haven't received an email from him,
Yeah,
but send an email out to him and ask him if he's got everything up to.
Do they prorate that? Is that what they'll do? Or they'll probably say March first.
they'll probably just say, yeah, whatever, you'll hire the rest of it.
Yeah, so the
But we don't use it anyway, so it don't matter. For our usage, it's a matter of just what we're paying for it.
yeah,
But yeah, we should be able to get it knocked off for the end of this month.
and that comes out of it's the water one, right? Or is it sewer?
It depends on which location it is.
Okay. So it'll come out.
We'll
of two
have one that comes off the water and two that come. No, two that come off the water, one that comes off the sewer. Sorry,
Well,
add that backwards.
one sewer.
Which we still pay on those, but it's $10 a month to install or whatever. It's not. Guess what, chief? I didn't forget about you this month.
Say Mike.
You were just betting? Who won the bet?
I just said I wasn't gonna say anything, you forgot this. So really, the only thing I have is maybe to bring up to you guys, back in 1912, there was a marshal from Cokeville that got killed in the line of duty.
Yeah.
Davis found out, but he wasn't on a national law enforcement memorial wall in Washington. So he did work to contact that memorial committee. They had to do a whole bunch of stuff. They found that he was killed in the line of duty. And they've invited us to go to a candlelight vigil, meaning me and Davis, on the 13th of May in Washington DC, when they read his name to honor him. They're actually reaching out to relatives of his, which would be like great, maybe grandkids, and inviting them as well.
There you
So,
go, Harlan.
so we would like to maybe try going out to at least the vigil. If we can get it worked out, scheduling wise and wise, all that stuff. It'd be kind of cool to go and honor somebody that from Cokeville that was killed in the line of duty, even though it was a long time ago. He's now being honored 114
Good.
years later. Or something like that. My mouth is right, it's in my head, but.
If that goes through, do you think we should have a plaque or something in this building?
We have a plaque right next to our door
Yeah.
about for him. It was there, it got taken down. Davis went and found it and got it on the wall. So it is right by our.
So it is by.
It is right now, but.
He was what?
Ken Williams songs.
So that's, if you guys are okay with us maybe trying to go. At one point, we were thinking maybe making a huge week of it, but it may only be a couple days now to get out there for at least a vigil where they read his name. And then come back, so it will cost a little bit,
That's very cool.
but. If not both of us,
Recorded.
if not both of us, we may try to send one of us.
You got it in your budget?
Well, that's where we're gonna have to look and see where we can figure it out. But that would be good. So.
I vote with Mike.
It's there. That was 2 days, that was the plan, but that is also the week of council. And we got told that one of the parties associated with one of us be able to miss council meeting. But then it got turned to no. Yeah, not me, it's her.
He's going, I'm going.
So that's what we're trying to figure out, some logistics of what it is, but I do think it would be good for Cokeville to go represent
So,
Cokeville during that, at least kind of individual portion of the law enforcement meetings back there, so.
I'd be interested, Mary, find out some more literature on that and find how his actual kin here in Cokeville. If I remember right, he was kin to Leo Thompson. You don't know anything yet?
Davis is gonna find that out if we're gonna look into that.
He doesn't have any kin still here in
Yeah,
Cokeville.
he's done some research.
He's
on that.
He's from Utah. Came up here, was only here for a few months before he was killed. And then after that, his wife and his toddler went back to Utah to be with her family.
not a toddler anymore.
Yeah, the oldest living relative that I found was a great grandson that lives in Washington. So I've contacted family from Washington, Florida. There's still some in Utah, and then there's actually some over on the East Coast. So,
So there may be some of his family there, if they live on the East Coast, but they, like I said, they're, I mean, way down with this. We didn't know until Davis went to our academy, saw him on the wall, and he's been working on it for the last couple of years. He's got left.
So he's on the wall at the academy.
He is in the Wyoming law enforcement memorial wall, but not the national.
so when I. And I knew about. Talking with Carla Toomer, who is very invested in that story as well. Wife and Winnie and I went to DC over the summer, and while we were at the memorial, I tried to find him on the wall and I couldn't find him anywhere. We came home, I looked him up on the website, I called them, they couldn't find him either. So that's when I started the process for getting him added on.
Yeah, it has been a process, and Davis is the one I did sign my name on a piece of paper, but Davis did.
That was the hardest part, you know.
But Davis did do all the work, so like I said, if it comes down to probably one of us going, we'll probably.
Way to go, David.
But I'm all for doing all the work for Chief to go to DC as well.
Yeah.
So. So if you guys are okay with that, maybe, and see if we can figure out how to.
I'd like to make a motion that our police department can go report our fallen officer. Yeah, in Washington.
Motion by Brad, second by Peter.
As long as the budget meets the timeline.
From discussion standpoint, I would like to budget course. Not to be Ebenezer Scrooge, but.
So when does it happen again?
It's
May.
May 13th.
So it'd be this year's budget anyway. So we'd have to have another,
We just have to see if we can afford it, basically. That's where we have.
It just, everything's a trade-off. You spend 10,000 here, then you can't spend 10,000 somewhere.
Oh,
So just-
I get it.
So just looking for the information. I appreciate just that information.
And that's what I would have to see how much lights are, how much hotel would be. If we went out there and stayed for a week, the town, I wouldn't expect the town to pay for my vacation. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It would be just for,
I expected.
it would be just for maybe
Again.
there for maybe one night stay or something like that. Would be the only one with the town would pay for. Anything else with the town wouldn't pay. Be coming out of our individual pockets, and maybe even half the flights would come out of our pockets or something like that to make it work.
okay, I amend my motion.
Goodbye.
My motion is we allow the police department to look into their budget and see if they can support a problem. Aye.
That's all I have.
Hold on, I do have a question. How's your dog doing?
She's doing good. She is certified. We haven't ran her yet here in town. We have.
She is certified then.
Yeah, and she'll go get certified again. She is certified. We've been dealing with other cases that have kind of taken us off the road for the last couple of weeks.
We have taken other agencies.
I have done other agencies. I've used her up in Afton at their school, high school, run her there.
But you're confident with her, you're enjoying, I mean, things are going well.
Yeah, I went and did a demonstration for Kemmer's Council last month. I think it was last month.
Yeah.
And because they were looking at a dog and the dog helped sell them on getting a dog. So they are getting a dog. Montpelier's contacted me about getting dogs. They're getting a dog now in Montpelier. I didn't go help them with the demonstration, but she's doing good.
Oh, good.
Been doing good.
Like to hear good
So-
things about her.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing.
but that's all I have.
Okay.
Mike?
I remember. Person.
Mike, McGuff.
Oh. Weston?
Know what you're saying, guys, like, yeah.
Okay,
Make that motion.
to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Hopefully I didn't forget anything, but I probably did.
Pick that next one.
I was now.